Yo YouTubers, make sure I haven't got any crumpets. Make sure I haven't got any crumpets in my eyes. As promised, it's going to be quite a quick video, quick as I can anyway. Just going through a couple of illustrations and that. About what I found about the Vatican, the building, right? And what you've got to bear in mind is, right, recently, I mean, if we're going overboard, or we're mentioning the Vatican too much or whatever, just remember, guys, what happened recently. That the Pope went to see the Queen, the Pope went to see Obama, the Pope went to America and all that. He's been all over the world. He's got like all them countries. Was it Brazil? That one person, or the leader of that particular organisation, has been greeted by every world leader. You know, virtually the most important world leaders around the planet. So we're not imagining that it's blown out of proportion or whatever, or that, because we all, if you're in the know, you'll know that the people in the Vatican don't know anything, and anything they do know that's like valuable knowledge, they keep to themselves. You don't want the average Joe to know, right? So what I'm going to show you is, right, remember the Vatican years ago in Italy, when it was the centre, where it was like hardly anyone could go on holiday to Italy and all that kind of stuff, or go and visit the place, but it'd be like to be homegrown fanatics, wouldn't they? All the fans, the Catholic society. And I'm not knocking Catholic people, guys. I've got nothing against Catholic people, or I don't go along with any denominations. I'm a Protestant and I don't like Catholic. It's not like that at all to me. I'm just telling people, I'm telling Catholic people that they're being ripped off, right? Like, what good is a guard dog that doesn't bark when there's an intruder close by, or something's wrong? If you had a guard dog and every time someone broke into your garden and nicked some tools and the dog didn't bark, the first thing you'd think is like, why isn't the dog barking? Like, so this is, in effect, is what I'm doing, is like I'm barking like a dog, as if to say to Catholics, not to non-Catholics, to the majority of Catholics, like, you're being switched, you're being ripped off, someone's robbing you. Get your head into gear, or wake up, or defend yourself, or get out of that church, or as the Bible says, come out of her, leave her behind and that. So I'm going to show you just a couple of little illustrations. Well, it's one picture really, of an aerial view, right? And you've got to think of this, right, guys? When the Vatican was built, there's no advantage of aerial photography. Are you with me with that? I know the way, like, when they designed Washington, there's all the pentagrams everywhere in the streets in the Washington setup, yeah. Obviously the guys that design these things have got some kind of elevation advantage to know what they're doing. They've got to have either spacecraft or some way of, or they're in orbit in the first place looking down, or there's an aerial view advantage. Going up in a glider, going up in a plane, going up in a helicopter, whatever, you start looking down and you'll see things in the buildings and all that kind of stuff that you think, I've never seen that on the ground. And obviously that's how it's designed. Like the Vatican is designed for, like, mostly peasants. It would have been like, oh, His Holiness the Pontiff of Rome, the Pontiff, the the figurehead of Rome, the Pontiff, like Pontius Pilate of Rome. And you got to, like, all them people will just gather in they have to cheat to call it St. Peter's Square, or they're naming it after, supposedly name it after, the original person who Jesus nominated as the church, like. So you can see there's a bootleg going on there. It's a bootleg, right? So enough of the waffling, like, I'll try and show you the picture I'm talking about, like. But aerial photography, guys, right? Aerial photography of the Vatican, right? And the first thing about the Vatican, right, is the most intimidating thing. If you was on the ground level and you walked in there, whether you go through the front door or the back door, you gather at St. Peter's. It's called a square. It's not even a square, is it? It's an eclipse, or an ellipse, is it? It's the shape ellipse. It's an elliptical, like, rugby ball shape, basically, isn't it? It's not even a circle. It's not square, but it's called same. So there's a lie there, like, there's a kind of like the square peg in the round hole kind of thing, yeah. And right at the centre of it, there's a bloody Egyptian obelisk, not which was probably built by slaves at the request of a Babylonian type leader, you know what I mean, or Cleopatra or whatever, like, yeah. You know, they kept it to themselves for years, folks, you know, but anyway, all the people all meet, don't they, when they all go to Mass. Today is Sunday, by the way, like, you know what I mean? So this is my anti-Mass, I suppose, like. And I'm not being vindictive against the Pope himself. I was never vindictive against Pope John Paul, you know what I mean? Because I don't think they have a clue in their own little brains, like, just what is pulling the wires behind them. And it's obviously reptilian, guys. We're talking about a reptoid. You know, it would... The snakes, man, you know what I mean? The snakes are very ruthless creatures. If you put a rabbit in front of a snake, it won't say, like, oh, isn't it, like we would say, isn't that cute and cuddly? They just see it as food, you know what I mean? They get the heat off it and the blood or whatever and think, can't wait to swallow that and devour that and then extract all the nutrients from the dead rabbit, like. And that's exactly how the Vatican sees all the people. The common folks I'm talking about, like, well, there's got to be loads of snobs there as well, being stupid bastards as well, hasn't there? There's got to be, like, rich folks go there as well. All to see this dude on a balcony, basically, right? And the first thing you'll see all around you is them big, horrible statues all on the roof. You know, like a circle, like sort of, it's like a line, and like there's a big statue of a Jesus, not the Jesus, guys. You know what I mean? The statue, it's an eyesore to me. You know, when you look up at the Vatican, you look at all them statues. One's meant to be Peter with the keys, like Jesus is walking around carrying a big cross. You know, as if, right, as if Jesus walk around in a glorious mode. He'd have like that big bloody cross in his hands, you know, like carrying it around, like in his glory, as if he'd be carrying that around in his glory. That was like part of the punishment or whatever that he had, you know, the sacrificial lamb kind of thing. Yeah, but if you just look at the statue of Jesus on top of the Vatican, it's carrying and obviously it's made of stone. It's a big rock thing, isn't it? It's made of stone. It's a stone idol. Like Peter's got a pair of keys. Like I don't know, you know, they're all the Peter, Paul, John, Simon, whatever, you know, they're all the supposedly the apostles and the disciples, aren't they? Right? They're just chess pieces, aren't they? Basically, they're just like big fancy chess pieces on the roof of the Vatican. That's designed to, like, in the same way, like a fairground is meant to steal your eye, you know, give you this like sense of like false sense of elation and that. Like you look up at this big Jesus thing carrying a cross, like, and there's Peter with the pair of keys in his. Or with a key in his hand and that, like. All statues, God doesn't have statues of himself made, guys. There's no such thing as an image or a carving or a figurine or anything like that can actually encapsulate what God actually looks like. It's impossible, totally impossible. So when I look up at that big Jesus statue in the Vatican carrying a big cross going, hey everyone, peace man, I've come to save the world. He's not going to walk around carrying a big cross, is he? As the Bible says, he's not going to bear a cross, he's going to bear a sword. Straight away, the Catholic Church or the Holy Roman Empire. I've got this big stone dude carrying a big stone cross. Like, that's proof of how limited their viewpoint is, their understanding of the whole picture, you know what I mean? Well, anyway, I'll show you some pictures now, anyway. Bearing in mind, I'm saying that it's run by reptilians. We all know that, right? We all know that, right? But without the advantage of aerial photography and not being able to fly or whatever, you know, or we can't use a drone back in the days when the Vatican was fit. The guys are so crafty, they designed it exactly like this, right? And I'll show you some pictures, like, to show you what I mean, right? And the point I'm making here, right, is I got this kind of inspiration from, I don't know if anyone out there, you must have heard on YouTube, you must have heard of a guy called Jonathan Cleck. And he quite rightly pointed out that, let's get it on the screen. He pointed out that this place, right? There it is from above. There's your elliptical there, right? Look at the shape of it, for crying out loud. It's not a square, it's not a circle, it's an oval. But right in the middle there is a little pinnacle. you know, which we all know, that right in the centre is a pinnacle. Right, are you with me? Right. Which we all know, when Satan took Jesus into the, you know, into the, like, to try and mess with his head, he took him to a pinnacle, or the top of everything, and showed him all the buildings, all the houses and all that. Now, think about it, it could have been that very pinnacle, couldn't it, but located somewhere else. So they've had to move it from Egypt and to bring it to Italy, like, you know, into the Vatican state, like, which is an independent state as well from the country Italy, isn't it? It's Holy Rome, you see. It's the Martians, right, guys? I've always been saying it, right? Mars, reptiles, deserts, rattlesnakes, sea snakes, which I'll show you in a minute, right? But Jonathan Clegg, right, who I think's done a lot of good work out there. Everyone's got their arguments about, you know, if we believe in God, once we mention God, we're a load of lunatics. But he pointed out this, right? That's the hat. If you look at it at a different angle, you'll see it better, like, but first there's like a sarcastic insult against the cross. See the way they're using the symbol of the cross, right? It's sarcastic, that, guys. That's not like a love of God or love of Jesus or whatever. It's sarcasm, right? Aerial view, remember, guys. None of the people who go here to do mass or stand here, like oaths here, like, they don't know what they're in the middle of. They can't see all that. Right, but sure enough, right, Jonathan Clegg pointed this out. That's a snake's head. There's the eyes. One eye there, left eye, right eye, and this big, horrible hat. You know, if you think of it, like, you know. Right, so that's the snake's head. So we follow it along there. There's the tail, obviously, where everyone, you know, everyone walks along that road. When they've either been in there, they might go in through the gates there, I don't know they go in or go out, or there's gates here or gates there, but obviously I think they'd go in through the mouth of the snake, as people, as a collective, you know what I mean, not one person at a time. We're talking about hundreds at every mass, yeah. They all go here, let's just get me arrow. They walk in there, through the head of the snake, its mouth, the snake eats them, and look at that. You know, that's the point that I can't remember, but I know Jonathan Clegg saying it looks like a snake's head with a hat on. It got me thinking, yeah, but when you look at the whole thing, right, and I'll get it like a bigger picture, you know, a bit of zoom back, like. Say, there's the whole thing from above. Remember, we have not got advantage of aerial photography back in the day, like, or any loyal Catholics that went to serve, you know, this organisation back in the day when it was first built. They haven't got this advantage of aerial photography. Do you know what I'm saying? They couldn't see things from above like we can look back now and say, well, look at that from above. But look, you know, when a snake eats a rabbit or a rat, or you know, a snake can eat or a person, right? Because they have been known to eat people. Remember, yeah, they don't chew them up, do they? Like we do, you know, like we as humans. We're not reptoids. We don't swallow things whole. Do you understand? We chew them up, like we've got teeth and everything. Whereas like a snake, if you think of the people going through the gates of the Vatican, including like the priests, the bishops, anyone who works for it or whatever, they usually gather there when it's mass. Like, they're all there. Around this bloody thing, remember, which from this height just looks like a little dot, but we know it's a massive piece of stone. So everyone's standing around it. There, and that is actually the bit where the snake is digesting the prey or the food. So every Catholic person that stands there looking at the guy on the stage there through the window is effectively sarcastically seen by the Vatican, by the Holy Roman State, as food. You're all food. If you imagine that full of, like, say 2,000 people or whatever the capacity is, like, it's just one big munch on a Sunday afternoon. for the snake. And then at the end of it, you're all classed as snake shit, basically. I'm not being funny to you guys. I'm not being insulting. I'm not, like, being insulting to Catholics or nothing. I'm the dog barking saying, like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Why don't you wake up and see it and tell your brothers and tell your sisters and tell your friends and tell anyone else who goes... They go all the way to Italy to see the Pope waving out of a window at them, like. And there'll all be food in that belly of the snake. There's its head, there's its hat, there's the belly. And then, look, then that's where you leave. Out of the arsehole. That river was probably seen as a toilet or something, or a sewage or something for the snake, you know what I mean? I don't know all the details of the area, like, I don't want to, like, really, but do you not see what I'm saying here? Like, a snake with a hat on. There's his big fat belly where everyone is his food. You can't see that, obviously you're on the ground level, surrounded by these chess pieces of, like, these like, statues of, you know, false Jesuses and false disciples. And everyone goes down there then, they become like, once you're digested, you're a turd. You're just feces or stools or snake shit, basically. And you look at it, even goes narrow. It even goes like a point there, look. And there's the arsehole. Now, I don't know if you can see it, like, what I'm trying to say, like, but you are food in that area there. Around that thing there. Which is quite colossal in size, isn't it? The big obelisk, the big piece of graphite, whatever they call it, graphite. I don't know, what is it? Pink graphite or whatever they use for them. You know, it's actually a piece of Egypt, isn't it? It's a piece of Babylon, isn't it? The actual thing. So I don't know if I've actually pointed out, but anyone out there, if you're still a Catholic or you still, no, just because of family tradition or whatever, like, or you feel sorry for, like, people in Ireland or anything like that, I get that. Like, or, you know, have you ever seen the film The Mission with Robert De Niro, like, and they're all Jesuit Catholics, basically, like, trying to help the tribal people, and they end up messing it up for them, don't they, or get slaughtered, because it's planned. The slaughter is planned. The guys dressed as, you know, Jeremy Irons or whatever, dressed as a priest or whatever, they're used, like, covert, undercover agents, basically, to win the hearts and minds of the locals, the tribesmen, you know, the local natives. Before the conquistadors with the guns coming, you know, the Vatican Guard. Them guys from the Vatican, they're called the Vatican Guard, yeah. And they wear Spanish conquistador helmets where they went round killing all the South Americans, you know what I'm saying? Like, Spanish conquistador helmets. And they're amazing, like, they're proper, like, real top quality military people, like the Vatican Guard. They look silly, but they're not really. They are proper, amazing, like, capable soldiers, if you know what I mean. They're not like knobheads. That's what you're all saving, guys, you know what I mean? It's the snake, right? Eating its own tail eventually, isn't it? Because it's killing its own followers. Do you understand the snake shit? Anyway, I don't know. I know I'm being a bit graphic, like, but tell anyone out there, if you're Catholic and you're a good soul and you're good people and that, like, wake up, man, you know what I mean? Listen to the barking dog, like, and realise you're being ripped off. Get them pictures off your walls, the silly crosses everywhere and all that stuff, yeah. And just, like, you know, get with it, like, and get everyone together, like, you know, break down sectarian barriers and that, like. And everyone realised that, like, look at the point of the tail. It's a snake with a hat on. I mean, you know. And what? Vatican? Fat again? If a snake's just at its munch, you know what I mean? It's fat again, isn't it? You know, while its belly's bulging, it's just that's a fucking... Sorry for my language, guys. I apologise for me swear words, but I can't help it. It's the way I talk, like, yo. It's just so absurd. I just can't believe people are still going there, you know. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll try and get this uploaded for Sunday for Mass, but everyone out there, tell your friends, tell your brothers, your uncles, your aunties, whatever, like, get your heads out of that silly Catholic nonsense. You know what I mean? Come out of it, as the Lord told us. Get out of there, come on, run as fast as you can and don't look back.